Today we're making a Snickers slice. These are absolutely delicious and so easy to make. They're 247 calories per slice as well as 8 grams of protein, and best of all, there is only 6 ingredients. Now with our peanuts, this is half a cup of unsalted and unroasted peanuts, and place them into an oven at 180°C or 350°F for about 6 minutes until golden. For the base, we need 20 fresh Medjool dates. You can use dried, but you will have to soak them and they're a little bit harder to work with. Just do whatever's easiest for you. And these are already pitted. If yours has seeds in them, just make a slice in the side and then remove it. And what I'm doing is pushing them down to make them as flat as possible. You can use a flat bottom pan or a weight to push them down to flatten them. And if you don't want to use dates altogether, you can change the base up, but you will need to change all of the macros because this is calculated for a date base. When you have that done, line a baking pan with some parchment paper, making sure you get up the sides as well and there's no gaps. And the size of this is about 33 centimeters by 24 centimeters. And we want to push the dates in with the inside down first and the skins at the top, making sure that there's no gaps, and this is going to create our nice solid base. And then we can pop this aside for the time being. With the peanuts removed from the oven and slightly cooled, these can be roughly chopped. Doesn't have to be too fine, just make sure that there's no whole peanuts, and you can do this in a food processor or a blender too. Place a saucepan over a medium heat and add in 2.5 tablespoons or 50 grams of coconut oil, as well as 1 cup or 250 grams of peanut butter, smooth or crunchy. And if you have used crunchy peanut butter, you don't actually have to use the peanuts that we've roasted and chopped, but you will need to recalculate the macros yourself and the calories will be a little bit lower. With this, all we need to do is mix it around until it's fully melted and everything is combined and smooth. Remove it from the heat and then pour it directly over the dates. Make sure you scrape it all in there so we don't have any waste, and then just lightly spread it out on top, making sure that everything is covered. And this is why it's important to have that baking paper covering everything and there's no gaps, just so nothing can leak underneath and then it's really difficult to get out. Now with the chopped peanuts, we can sprinkle these over the top of that peanut butter. If you have used crunchy peanut butter, like I said, you don't have to use the chopped peanuts, and you don't have to use them all right here. You can sprinkle them over the end, and this can go in the fridge for 2 hours or in the freezer for 45 minutes. Just before that base is ready to come out the fridge, we'll set up a double boiler or a bain-marie, and then 3/4 cup or 150 grams of high quality dark chocolate and 1 tablespoon or 20 grams of coconut oil. All we need to do is mix this together, make sure it's melted and smooth, and that's all we need to do. If you didn't know, adding oil to chocolate, especially in this case, when we put it in the fridge and then we go to cut it later on when it's set, it won't crack and you can slice directly through it, but it will still have that really nice crunchy texture to it. It's just a great way to stabilize the chocolate. Anyway, once that's melted, remove it from the heat and then we'll remove that base from the fridge or the freezer. Pour the chocolate directly over the top, making sure you scrape it all in there so we have no waste again. Just evenly spread it out, you don't need to bang it on the bench or anything, just make sure that all 4 sides are covered. Sprinkle over a little bit of sea salt flakes, which just makes your mouth salivate. You don't have to do it though if you don't want to. And this can go in the freezer for 2 hours or back in the fridge for a minimum of 3 up to 24 hours. I actually put this one in the fridge overnight and came back to it the next day, and everything is nicely set. Carefully remove it from the tray and you can let it sit out for about 15 minutes to let it soften up slightly, and carefully remove any parchment paper that may be stuck on the sides and the bottom. The best way to slice this is using a hot, dry knife and slice it in half lengthways, then slice it directly in half, and then we can slice this into about 16 to 18 pieces. For the purpose of this video, I did only slice it into 8 pieces, just so they're bigger sizes and you can see it a lot better, but the macros for this recipe are for 16 pieces. You are more than welcome to slice it any shape or size you want. If you are calculating the calories, you probably will need to adjust accordingly. For storing, I recommend cutting small pieces of parchment paper to use as the base so these don't all stick together. The container size I'm using is 1.3 liters, and I'm also using the vacuum pump, which will get an extra couple of days out of these. They'll last in the fridge for up to 2 weeks and in the freezer for up to 3 months. I have a link for the containers in the description. And this right here is the macros for a single slice. The full written recipe and the remaining nutrition is in the link in the description. Now with all of that done, we can then dig in. That is a really good combination of flavor and texture. The dates hold the base together really well and give it that nice little chewy bite. The creaminess of that peanut butter as well as the coconut oil, and then the chocolate and the salt just makes you salivate. Definitely do cut it into 16 pieces though. I only cut it into 8 for the presentation purposes of this video, so it looks a little bit better. But yeah, they are quite rich, but they're absolutely delicious.